Have you ever noticed how the modern world is always 5 minutes away from disaster? Economic crisis, security crisis, political crisis, cultural crisis, climate crisis, health crisis. It's fascinating because according to the headlines, civilization had been about to collapse every week for the last 30 years, and yet somehow tomorrow morning still arrive. Watch the rhythm. New emergency appears. Experts rush to the screen. Alarms everywhere. Everything is urgent. Everything is historic. Everything demands immediate reactions. Then something interesting happens. The crisis fades. Not necessarily solved, just replaced. Another crisis arrives. Another emergency begins. Another emotional storm. Crisis, reaction, fear, repeat. Fear is a very powerful emotion. Neurologically, fear does something fascinating to the human brain. When fear rises, reasoning quietly steps aside. The brain switches from thinking mode to survival mode. Now, imagine living inside a permanent emergency. Always react, always worry, always waiting for the next alarm. People in constant crisis mode plan very far ahead. They don't ask large structure. They don't analyze long systems. They just react to the next problem in front. And this creates an interesting environment. A population that is always focused on today's emergency rarely has the time to examine long-term structures, policies, institutions, power networks, economic systems, because those things require something very rare in a crisis: time to think. Here's the quiet question nobody asks. What if a society that is constantly reacting is easier to guide than a society that is calmly thinking? Because a calm population asks complicated questions, but a frightened population just asks for the next solution. And if the emergencies never really stop, people never really leave survival mode. And a population that lives permanently in a survival mode is a population that rarely stops to ask who designed the alarm system.